Jack Reiss, legendary boxing referee. Tell me how you got into boxing refereeing.
Well, I got tired of getting hit in the face and I wanted to stay with the sport, so I pursued refereeing.
So I'm assuming you boxed at one time, or?
Yeah, I grew up here in Brooklyn and Coney Island. I did my share of boxing, a lot of unsanctioned kind of stuff, and never was had any much talent, so I wanted to stay with it, and I got into refereeing.
Unsanctioned kind of stuff, am I to assume?
Yeah,
street
church.
Fights?
No, well, I did a lot of street fights, but
Okay.
I'm talking about, church bazaars and things like that all over Brooklyn.
Oh, like, what do they call them? Smokers?
Smokers.
Smokers,
Yeah, and then
okay.
I also used to attend a martial arts school on Avenue U, Louis Neglia Martial Arts Karate Academy. I was a full contact kickboxer for a while. Not very good, but I did it.
Amazing. And you refereed some awesome fights. What was the most memorable fight that you refereed?
I have moments of memories, lots of them, but I know people tend to always bring up the time that I had Andre Ward against Edwin Rodriguez, and it got a little rough. I got cracked in the face by Rodriguez. I had to stop the fight and take points away from both guys to calm them down, but I guess that would be one of them.
Did the punch hurt?
I'm an old guy, so it stung me, yeah.
Wow, so you got cracked in the face. Did it do any damage, like were you sore the next
No,
day?
nothing like that. No, like, just, rang my bell a little bit for a second.
What's your favorite part about refereeing fights?
The people, there's no question about it. The relationships I've made, it's like a family. I walk in here, I walk into Gleason's gym, and we all kind of know each other from seeing each other at fights, and it's just great.
Now, recently there have been a couple of fights where what a lot of fans would say were early stoppages, like if you take AJ versus Tackam. When do you think is the perfect time for a referee to stop a fight?
Great question. It's the rule I use is when a fighter can no longer intelligently defend himself, and when a fighter turns his back on a fighter, or he bends down at the waist, puts his hands over his head, or if the things that he's doing with his body aren't appropriate for the situation. In other words, you wouldn't turn your body when someone's trying to hit you. You wouldn't turn away, or you wouldn't drop your hands when the guy's in the middle attacking you. It demonstrates that they're out on their feet and they're no longer cognizant of where they are and no longer able to protect themselves.
When would you consider it too early to stop a fight?
You got it. These are professional fighters, okay? And their job is to go in there. It's a hurt business, and we cannot protect them from harm. They make that choice, like a police, like a fireman, military. They all make the choice to do that job. A fighter gets in there knowing the risks, and we can't protect them from harm, but we're there to protect them from unnecessary harm. So when a fighter's got no chance of winning on the scorecards, doesn't really look like he's competitive anymore, he's not really throwing back with enthusiasm, maybe he has some physical damage, time to pull him out. At other times, when they can no longer defend themselves.
Okay, so if a fighter say down by 8 rounds in a 10-round fight, he's really not doing much, he's taking more than he's getting.
Where's he going?
It's time to call it a day.
Yeah. Sometimes the corners, they don't stop the fight when they should, and the fighters are so courageous, they're like warriors, they're not going to stop the fight, they'll go out on their sword, and it's when I got to step in and save them for another day.
Also, there have been some stoppages, but on cuts, when do you think is the right time to stop a fight on a cut?
When the cut's going to cause some kind of permanent damage, where they might not be able to open their eye or close their eye anymore, or cuts like in the mouth that are bleeding excessively. I'm not worried about where the blood that's bleeding excessively. I'm worried about where the blood's going on the inside. Is it filling his gut? Is he reducing his ability to breathe? And then he's getting deoxygenated and he's getting more fatigued and willing to take more damage. So anytime a cut becomes dangerous, or it can create permanent injury, permanent damage, or if what's going on could hurt him as well on the inside.
Cuts on the mouth, that's very interesting. It reminds me of Klitschko versus Lennox Lewis, when he had the huge gash in his mouth. How does that affect a fighter with a cut in the mouth? Well,
it affects each fighter differently, what their tolerance is. But I don't know if you remember, that fight got stopped because of one of the cuts. But it's a great scenario. So he had a cut on this part of his eye, and that's a very dangerous place to get cut, on the eyelid itself, because if it goes into the center, he will lose his ability to blink and close his eye and he'll have eye damage. And that he had that cut for quite a few rounds, and then the doctor stopped it, and everybody was complaining, why did the doctor stop it? It was the same cut 3 rounds ago. Well, actually not. Vitaly was sitting on his stool, and when the doctor came in this particular round, Vitaly looked up at him, and the doctor saw his eyeball through the eyelid. So that's why he stopped the fight. The cut had accelerated so bad that the doctor looking down could see the eyeball.
Oh my God! So when you say
the public don't know it because we don't communicate that to them. But you know, it's always for a good reason.
That's what I'm here for, to find out the truth. So when you say it could go from here to the bridge of the nose, do you mean the actual cut or the blood?
The cut, if the cut spreads out deep enough to where it goes where your eyelid, upper and lower eyelid meet, where your tear duct is,
right,
you could lose the ability to tear, you could lose the ability to open and close your eye.
And we're talking permanently?
Yeah, permanently. It's the nerve. There's these 8 nerves that run through your skull, and there's different areas that when you get it cut there, we're very concerned because it'll damage that nerve. And you might have, there's a nerve that runs all through here, and if that thing gets damaged, you won't have any feeling in your chin, you might not be able to open and close your mouth. It's dangerous stuff. And you know, the depth of it as well.